Hey, what is going on, crypto people? Flare Networks TVL, the total value lock has doubled in just 7 months, just under 7 months. But is that a real signal of adoption, or is that just another layer of hype in the digital asset space? Today, we're going to be breaking it down. What's actually driving the growth? Where's the money flowing? And whether this is sustainable or is it just smoke and mirrors? We're going to get into it, family. We're going to get into it. Like, happy freaking Thursday. It is Talk That's How Thursday. Can't wait to talk TVL for Flare Networks. Listen, this market is doing what the market does. We will certainly go over the numbers if you can stomach it. We'll go over those numbers as well. Listen, Amy at Flare Networks, I think she's like the head of community or head of marketing for community. She gave me the idea to do this live stream today. I was not going to do it. I was going to do it later today. But when I saw that TVL doubling in just 7 months as compared to where it just was not too long ago, I said, I got to do a live stream about this, man. So hope you guys are doing well. Look, the market again is doing what the market does. We'll go over these numbers with you guys for sure. But boy, oh boy, it's just 7 months doubling the TVL and Flip Network. That's a big deal. We're going to get into that. What's going on, Jay Coin? How are you? Hope all is well, bro. Hope all is well. What do you know about that? Pookie's going to be joining the live stream shortly, I'm sure. We're going to get into this. So I'm going to refresh CoinGecko so we can go with those numbers. And we're going to get into this TVL doubling on freaking Flare Networks. That's cray cray in the streets. I'm going to refresh CoinGecko here. I am going to go over DeFi Llama with you guys. We got to answer those questions like what's actually driving this growth? We talk about it on the stream all the time. You got to go up and to the right of the network adoption curve. That is the key. Right? In other words, you got to have stuff that you got to have a blockchain that people are using. They're on with some useful dApps, some useful dApps in this space, right? That is massively important. We're going to let a couple more people hop on this live stream. We're going to cover those three questions with you guys in detail for sure. Let me do this. Did I refresh that? Yeah, I did. What's going on with Bitcoin right now? It's crazy in the streets. What's going on with Bitcoin? Yeah, that's crazy. That is really, really crazy. Interesting stuff. So let me do this real quick. Got some live stream issues. Got some live stream. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button on the way in. It's one of the greatest ways to support your channel. You know how we do. We always like to have just as many likes as we got viewers in the stream. Let me share this DeFi Llama thing real quick. And then we'll let for some more people, let some more people hop into the stream. So there it is right there. It says 87.82 million. We're going to break down what is really the TVL and what's making up this TVL. Why is it growing at the pace that it is growing? But this is from, it's just from DeFi Llama. We can take a lot of this into consideration as well. But I do want to point out stable coin market cap. That USDT. I thought it was O, bro. I thought it was US dollar tether O for OmniChain, but apparently it's zero. It's apparently it's US dollar tether zero. Who knew? But apparently that's what it is. Let me do that as well. Yeah, can you believe that? All right, so let me share this post from Amy. Again, Amy is head of community marketing, head of marketing with community at this core at Flare Networks. So she put this out, right? It's like, what the world? Let me go back here. Public service announcement. Head to, how to read Flare's TVL. How to read Flare's TVL. Before I share these numbers, I want to share what she shared in September of 2024 in reference to the TVL. She said, "Oh, whoa, was just a month ago. We doubled the TVL affiliate networks. That was in September of 2024. She highlighting the fact that they had doubled their TVL numbers. right? You look at this post here, it says 15 million TVL. This is on DeFi Llama. And it had a lot to do with that ETH. Remember, they brought the ETH staking and to Flare with the dinero, right? 115 ETH. Public service announcement: how to read Flare's TVL. The 92.61 million shown on DeFi Llama includes 6.7 million in borrows, 21 million in liquid staking, 24 million in real world assets. This figure has nearly doubled over the past 7 months using the same methodology. And that's without counting the growing stable market cap, the the growing stable coin market cap on Flare, which is now at 93 million. She says here to note, if you follow DeFi Llama's default filters, which exclude borrows and liquid staking, Flare's TVL is 64.63 million. TVL doesn't tell the full story. Not all total value lock is the same. Where the value sits, in what form, and how it's used is all that matters. This is from Thanos. Ultimately, innovation across the ecosystem, from the apps to token holders, is what drives long-term value. 1000%. And I think it feels like this is a quote from Thanos here. TVL alone doesn't tell the full story. Not all TVL is the same. And I think Thanos is like head of DeFi at Flint Networks. Not all TVL is the same. Where the value sits and in what form and how it's used is all that matters. I couldn't agree. I could not agree more. Could not agree more. I just listened to Thanos. He was just on Flare Forwards not too long ago. Flare Forward with Steve and Will 589 interviewing him about kind of this transition with the USDT, the bridge Stargate USDT and USDT zero, not O. I would have loved for it to have been O for OmniChain. But in any case, so this is very, very interesting. I'm going to go over what I think is the big driver for this TVL. I think the big driver is right here. Right here. One of these things, fair.flare, FAIR.flare.network. I think this is a big time key to it all. But you see they have USDT zero on here. They got SparkDex, Kinetic. I think the useful D apps is the game changer. Useful D apps. Now, does it hurt that they have, in addition to these useful D apps, they got a liquidity incentive event going on right now? Of course, it doesn't hurt. It absolutely helps. So we're going to go over these D apps here in a second, see how many of you guys are participating in these D apps. What's your count for useful D apps here? Do you have some USDT zero? Are you on SparkDeck? You're on Kinetic? We're going to get into that, and we're going to cover that as well. Play Networks TVL nearly doubling in just under 7 months is pretty impressive. I just got to tell you, do me a favor, guys, hit that like button on the way in. That'd be super, super cool. Again, we always like to have just as many likes as we got viewers in the stream. I know a lot of people want to talk ETFs. A lot of people want to talk ETFs and traditional financial products. I know it. I know people want to talk about that. I'm interested in the big time DeFi. What's going on in the decentralized financial space? For sure. With Flare is XRP5. I think Crypto Eddie said this in her video not too day or so ago. That she kind of echoed the same sentiments that I had about bringing value to the XRP holder. She said by far Flint Networks is bringing more value to the XRP holders than any other project out there. Yeah, I said they were further along. I said Flint Networks is further along in bringing value to the XRP holders. We do live stream here. Our live streams are not just, Yeah, we like to hang out. We like to interact. We like to talk with the community. We like to have the community share their thoughts and stuff like that. It's not one person talking and that's kind of it. I love that. I enjoy doing it. I think most of the family here enjoys that as opposed to I could just ramble on about the TVL growth of Flare and talk about each project. Da, da, da. But we like to have back and forth, as we like to say. We like to have a little back and forth on the Crypto Caesars channel for our live stream, just for new people joining and hopping in. We hit that 9,000 gold subscribers, man. So we'll be what I what I did the initial first 5 minutes of my live stream. We're going to be doing more of that as we move into, if you understood that style there, we're going to be doing more of that as we move into more podcasting style for the channel. Ultimately, long-term goal is old money doesn't want you to win movement for sure. That's the long-term goal. Joe Buddy's in the building. What's going on, bro? How are you? Appreciate you checking in. Brother Crypto is in the building. What's good, my guy? Appreciate that. Joe Buddy says, I ain't putting anything in because no one can clearly tell me how much yield and interest they pay out. I have asked and asked for over a year now. Yeah, I know, Joe. You're asking that, but I don't think you're. I don't. There's something. There's something in your question, or there's something that you're not understanding about DeFi because you say I'm not putting anything because no one can clearly tell me how much yield or interest pays out. Like, so when you see the APRs, can't you calculate that yourself? So what help me to understand what you're not getting in terms of an answer. Brother Crypto says, "Hey CJ, man, I tell you, I don't get into this crypto versus crypto war, but man, the more I look at Flare Networks and what it is doing, the more I convert my ETH to Flare. I hear you, bro. I hear that. I hear that. I did converted my ETH to Solana. I hear you, brother. Uh, I'm brother Crypto's going on to say here. I mean TVL. Can you imagine the TVL once FBTC hits? Yeah, yeah. Sui is trying to get into that game. I just heard they just hooked up with stacks. In any case, everyone is focused on FXRP, but FBTC is going to be huge if done right. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see. I think, brother Crypto, and I appreciate you commenting. It's going to be interesting to see. Um, I don't know. So let me say this. Someone in the community said or posted, about the numbers between F Doge and FXRP, about the participation from Doge holders and XRP holders. So and it was just it's a massive difference between XRP holders participating and Doge holders participating. So it's gonna be very, very, again, remember these are, we're not kind of like live on mainnet yet, so there's that. So it's gonna be interesting to see what the BTC holders. I'm really curious to see how the Bitcoin holders are gonna participate on Flare. I'm very, very curious to see what that's gonna look like. Joe Buddy says, I put $100 of crypto in. What are you getting back? So again, you say, what are you getting back? What does that mean? What are you getting back? I don't understand. What do you mean by that? You put $100 in crypto in what? Every day, every week, one time, and you put $100 in crypto in what? What are you putting $100 of crypto in? Are you putting $100 in crypto in on a liquidity pool on SparkDex? Are you putting $100 of crypto in on Kinetic? Are you putting $100 in on Blaze Swap and you're swapping it for another asset? You understand what I'm saying? Like, you're asking a question without giving the full picture as to what you're doing. This is why, it's my guess, is why you're not getting an answer. So if you DeFi is not just taking $100 and just putting it in, right? You have to have a strategy. Like, what you put $100 in, what do you get back? What is like? I'm trying to understand, and I know you've asked kind of questions kind of similar to this before. Like, what are you doing with the $100? Right? DeFi is not like a bank where you put $100 in and they give you 0.001%. And then you know that you're going to have less than a penny or a dollar after a year, right? Like you got to be more specific, bro. Like then if you're more specific, then we could look at what you're in and give you a guesstimate of what you would get back. Because APRs in DeFi are guesstimates and vast majority of DeFi. It's an approximate number. Simon, what's going on, Simon? How are you, bro? Appreciate you checking in. I just don't. Have you checked in on the stream before, Simon? And where are you checking in from, bro? Where are you checking in from? All right, let's. Should we go over these CoinGecko numbers? And then we're going to answer those three questions. Flare Networks TVLs doubled, nearly doubled in under 7 months. What's actually driving that growth? Where's the money flowing? And whether it's sustainable or is it just smoke and mirrors? I gotta tell you, I got my answers. Montreal, nice man, nice Simon. Montreal, Canada, first time saying hi. Oh man, appreciate you checking in. Ah, I love it. We got good friends out there in Canada. Cali Cat's in the building. What's going on? It says, "What's good, CJ? Is it Friday? What's going on with me right now? Is it Friday? Why do I? It's Thursday. Okay. Well, maybe it's Friday with Cali Cat is checking in from, I guess. I am infamous for getting the dates, the day of the week wrong. So I wanted to make sure. I thought it was Talk That Talk Thursday. I thought it was Talk That Talk Thursday. All right. So let me go over these crypto numbers right now because I know people over on CoinGecko, people want to see what's going on with the numbers. The market to me is still ranging. I mean, we'll take 97K for BTC. Let me refresh to get the real numbers again. We'll take 97. I feel like I need to consolidate down the portfolio down. I have an Internet of Things play housed from Sony and from the executives at Sony. I feel like I need to exit that position and get more FLR and SWE. We'll see. All right. So according to CoinGecko, the total cryptocurrency market cap is up 1.7% in the last 24 hours and is currently at 3.14 trillion. Bitcoin dominance is 62 to 63%. Bitcoin is currently trading at $97,189 again. And on a 30-day, Bitcoin's up 14%. Ethereum is trading at $1,862 again. And on a 30-day, Ethereum is down nearly 3%. XRP is trading at $2.25 again. And on a 30-day, XRP is up 4.5%. What do we got there? Solana is trading at $152 again. And on a 30, I wonder if I should. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. No, because then that would be out of the 90%. I'm not going to do it. Solana's trading at $152 again. And on the 30 days, Solana is up 19%, nearly 19%. Dogecoin is trading at 18 cents. And on the 30-day, Dogecoin is up 5.5%. A lot of people ask me why I share Dogecoin. It's in the top 10 market cap. And if you take out the stables, it's like top 5 or 6, right? So we is trading at $3.71 on the 30 days. So we is up 50% at the yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I gotta tell you. It is not bad. I got some sweet yesterday. The other day, I exited out a liquidity position on Cetus and got some more of the asset sweet. So that was nice. So there it is, fam. That is the market, and the market is doing what the market does. Brother Crypto says, CJ, Sui has some of the best DeFi user interfaces in crypto. Hoping Flair's DeFi creators are taking notes. Ease of use for non-technical users is the go. Yes, sir. Agree. Where are you hanging out on in Sui, brother Crypto? Where are you hanging out at? I like Navi Protocol, like Cetus. Um, I like Turbos. Where are you hanging out in the Sui ecosystem, my guy? Simon says some of you come to XRP. Oh, asking. He's asking some of you coming to the XRP Las Vegas. Anyone going to XRP Las Vegas? Simon wants to know. I will not be there. I heard someone in the channel. Oh yeah, I think it was Rick Cisneros was saying that he is going to go for the after parties, not going to the actual event. Cetus and Aftermath. What's going on with Aftermath, brother Crypto? I don't think I've heard of Aftermath. Aftermath. Never heard that one. So there it is, family. That is the market, and the market is just doing what the market does. Let me share what I think the reason for Play Network's TVL growth, in my opinion. Guys, do me a favor and hit that like button on the way in. That'd be super, super cool. We always like to have just as many likes as we have viewers in the stream. And if you happen to be in that 55% or so of people that are hanging out, listening to and watching the Crypto Seas, do me a favor. If you've been enjoying those hangouts, please consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you know whenever we go live or whenever we upload a video. All right, so let me do this real quick. How many of you guys remember the Fair Flare or the Fair dot Flare? You guys remember that? The fun zones. It's a still ongoing thing, by the way. Still an ongoing thing. I love the idea when they did this because it allows you to enter into the affiliate network's ecosystem and participate, um, take advantage of earning rewards, and they made it a very playful thing as well. I love what they did there. I loved what they did here. So you can see they got the USDT US dollar tether 0. And you can click here and you can get you some. Highest APR is 30%. That would be an RFLR rewards, right? There's SparkDex. You can do a number of things on SparkDex, which I really like. It's my favorite platform. It says the highest APRs on SparkDex is 88.5%. I like SparkDex for entering liquidity pools. I swap on SparkDex. You can swap on other places and maybe get better favorable swaps. But I just like SparkDex overall. I like entering liquidity pools there. I like the UI, the UX that they got going on, especially for early project. Um, yeah, I really like SparkDex. Kinetic is the kind of like the money market, if you will, the lending and borrowing platform on Kinetic. That says here the highest APR there is 74.16%. There's a Gnosis Global on Enosis. I'm not active on Enosis, but this says there's an APR there, 11,706%. I don't know what it is. I don't know what liquidity pool that is. I don't know. I've only tested on Enosis. I've never put actual live money there. Then there's Blaze Swap. Highest APR is 96% there. The Cyclo is a very interesting project where you can, you kind of can borrow, take leverage positions without risking liquidation. It's an interesting concept. I wish I was comfortable enough to explain it to you. I am not. My guys over at Flare Forward use it and they love it. They love it. I don't quite understand the strategy enough to use it, but highest APR on Cyclo is 185%. Then you got Clearpool, it's kind of more like TradFi meets DeFi platform. They got the CUSDX over there and the USDX. And I did a little something over there. I think $50 or less over there was something as well. Then there's interesting. They got Stargate on here. But anyway, Scepter is the liquid staking, right? You take that FLR, that WFLR, and over to Scepter, and you can get this APR at 39%. I love that because you can take the SFLR and you can go participate DeFi with it without losing the staking, um, which is, I'm telling you, it's fantastic. It is fantastic. I love it. Stargate's the bridge. I like using Stargate's bridge. I really like what they got going on there. It's ease of use is awesome. And then more stuff is coming soon. My guess the next thing going to be over here is this XRP staking with Firelight. To me, these useful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 useful DApps and useful things that you can do in DeFi. It incorporates, I mean, you can do a lot, not just lending and borrowing kinetic, but on SparkDex, I think they got perps over there as well as besides energy liquidity pools. Right? We're talking about things that you can actively participate in. Actively participate in. And the rewards is there's still APRs. You can lend and borrow. You can participate actively in DeFi. Let's check out DeFi Llama and let's check out these individual projects and see what they have going on in terms of the TVL. Let me refresh this. We always want to try to get as close as possible to the actual 87.82 million. Okay. All right. DEX volume, it says here, 24-hour DEX volume is 4 million. Stablecoin market cap in 7-day growth is up 1,558%. And the stablecoin market cap is 93 million. All right. The leaders in TVL is fascinating because it used to be Clearpool. Clearpool, month and a half ago, was number one. Now, the leading in terms of TVL project is Kinetic, the lending and borrowing platform. Yep. You can do other things on there. You can swap on there. You can, there's other stuff you can do. But lending and borrowing platform, Kinetic Markets. TVL is 31.79 million. 7-day change is 80%. 1 minute change? Is that 1 minute or 1 month? 1 month change, 169%. SparkDex, I like SparkDex's, has a revenue model going on there with the fees. SparkDex does, the decentralized exchange, you can enter liquidity pools, blah, 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 blah. 26 million, okay? 7-day change is 111%. Clearpool is down a little bit. I'm sure people are exiting some of their Clearpool positions and went over to Kinetic, liquid staking Scepter at 21 million. Okay. 1 month change is 40%. I like that number. Blaze Swap at 3 million. There's a Gnosis at 3. You got Ichi and don't know what Ichi is, the liquidity manager. Cyclo says it's derivatives platform. Yeah, I think when people get more comfortable with Cyclo, that TVL should start to grow. They got good numbers for 7-day change and 1 month change as well. Flarebank, I don't know Flarebank enough. Steer Protocol, Pangolin. I like to hang out with the stuff that's kind of like 1 or 2 chains only. So one chain, stuff that is primarily focused on Flare. I like that. So those are the numbers. And I think, again, for me, this growth is because of these available active DApps that people want to use. And don't get it twisted. Having an active liquidity incentive event, which Flare Networks has going on, definitely helps with participation. And what I like to always say is I kind of share my quote unquote, we called it airdrop farming days, where if I heard about an airdrop farming thing where I could participate and farm and whatever, to earn rewards, earn airdrops, potentially earn some airdrops, I would go to that ecosystem and I would participate there. And I always would say, Cali Cat, is that some will stay. Some will stay. A prime example is myself in the Solana ecosystem when they had their liquidity incentive event going on over there, whether it was with Marinade or whether it was Margin File, whether it was Camino, right? Or Jupiter, whatever it was, I was there. And I ended up staying. I ended up taking dirty, nasty fiat and participating, adding more of that dirty, nasty fiat into the ecosystems, especially on Camino and Margin 5, because I had a pleasant experience there, because it was easy to use, because it was, it did what it was supposed to do. I didn't have to worry about, major issues in the UI UX. I had a great experience. And so I stayed in that ecosystem. Ended up buying, but Solana, buying more Solana tokens and just participating, hanging out there, right? Lending and borrowing over there on MarginFi, whatever it was, I was doing it. I stayed. And this is for the network's hope as well, that people from other, right? Because I was primarily in the XRP ecosystem, primarily, right? Before Solana, before I airdropped into Solana. But then I became very active participant in the Solana ecosystem. And that's the way Flare Networks is hoping to get as well. Brother Crypto says, after my finance, I think it was like the first all-in-one DEX. Okay, on Sweet, got it. Dennis Newman's in the building. What's going on, bro? Dennis, where you checking in from? Dennis Newman, you checked in the other day, didn't you? How much percentage-wise do stake as opposed to delegate? I don't do any staking, Dennis. I do all delegating. I wrap and delegate. It's just for me, it's a little simpler to do it. How about the rest of you guys? Dennis wants to know how much percentage wise do you stake as opposed to delegating? Hydro is in the building. What's going on, Hydro? Says, hey, CJ, yeah, SparkDex is awesome with the capital A, baby. Yeah, I love SparkDex. Hydro says, I just delegate my FLR, no staking. Same for me. Brother Crypto says, what's the reward assets going to be for XRP staking? It's going to depend on is it the AVNs? Is it AVNs? It's going to depend on the platform. Each individual platform is going to reward you in their token for participating in the staking of your XRP. So it's going to depend on the platform. I think it's Hugo used the term AVN. So AVN is a particular platform that would love XRP staked to help secure their platform. So it's going to depend on the project. Rick Cisneros is in the building. What's going on, bro? I was just talking about you. Yeah, no kidding. Rick says, CJ, we were talking about Ripple buying Securitize or Axelar. Yeah, but I did not see Ripple Labs buying Circle, the stablecoin platform. Yeah, didn't see that either. I don't think that's done either. I think they are going to try to do it. I think they're going to come with another offer. I don't know if Circle's. I don't know what Circle is trying to do. I don't know if they're trying to uh, be acquired or not. A lot of people build projects, build a company, build a thing to be acquired. That's a real deal, right? Yeah, I didn't see Circle coming at all. Didn't see that at all. Aaron Medina says, well, 589 said we can stake and delegate at the same time. I mean, if you have enough FLR, you can definitely do that for sure. liquid staking. Yeah, liquid staking. Yeah, you can. You can stake your FLR, and you mean then if it's staked, then liquid stake it with Scepter. All I'm certain of is that you can wrap and delegate, and then stake with that as well. But the way you can check is if you have some state FLR, you just go to Scepter and click on staking and see if it lets you stake it there. Flare's ecosystem right now is very what's the word? It maximizes utility, and I love that. It promotes um, it has a it has a good it promotes just staying in house. This whole idea of taking dirty, again, I use this all the time, taking that inferior money, which is dirty, nasty fiat, buying and entering into a superior ecosystem, which is the digital asset space, buying a valuable asset like the FLR token, right? So you're out of that, you're out of the dirty, nasty, inferior system into the new one. And when you get into the new superior system, you buy a valuable asset. And in my opinion, FLR is a valuable asset. And just for merely wrapping it, you get involved in flare drops and stuff like that. If you delegate it, you get another form of income by delegating it, right? Which helps supports this network. And then you can take that delegated token and participate in DeFi with the same token. It's like you're just tripling and quadrupling the potential income. You understand? I mean, that's cray cray. You can take $100, you can get some FLR, you merely wrap it, just you wrap it, and now you're earning in this flare drops thing, which is awesome. You can take the wrap, you can delegate it, and now you're earning another source of income. You can take that wrapped FLR and you can go to Scepter, and for the liquid staking, gets you some Scepter FLR, and you can take that and participate in DeFi as well. All with the same $100. But it's long-term play. It's not short-term. And what I mean by long-term, 9 months, a year, 2 years. It's through the bear market, in my opinion. It's an awesome thing. Do you take profit? Of course. So we're in the bull cycle, obviously, right? And in the bull cycle, you want to be laddering, right? You want to be laddering out of stuff, right, into stables, whatever that laddering out looks like for you. For me, at the end of laddering, I'll be out of 90 to 98% of every asset. 90 to 98% at the end. And the reason why some are 90% and out and some are 98% depends on the asset. Some assets, right? You're right. It's long term, it's generation, all that kind of stuff. Did I say 90? No, no, no. 90 to 98% of the 10% bucket tokens. Okay. The 90%, the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and the combination thereof, that's a different percentage. That's 10, 20, 30%, right? You're holding that, you're building that up, especially Bitcoin. Ethereum is what it is because it maximizes utility, like you said, CJ, says Brother Crypto. And Flare does this better than ETH. I agree. This is why I am so hyped on FLR. It's doing what ETH needs the layer twos to do. Yep, it's doing Flare Networks as a layer one EVM blockchain is doing what, unfortunately, Ethereum has set up the L2s to do. Arbitrums and the optimisms of the world. I agree, brother Crypto. And that's why I've been saying as of late, what, 2-3 weeks? I've been saying as of late that Flare Networks is feeling more and more like what Ethereum was meant to be. Only better. We're talking about true decentralization, security, and scalability. Great point, brother Crypto. Aaron Medina says he thinks Trump's going to make the bull run 4 years. We still haven't had that, that full blown out bull run yet, have we? Still haven't had it yet. It's good to see Bitcoin at 97K. It is good to see those numbers for sure. The way I look at the digital asset space is really simple. I look at Bitcoin as the saving, and I look at the digital assets after Bitcoin as the investment. One's savings, one's investment. That's how I look at it. And just because it's an investment doesn't mean you don't keep it, you don't hold it. A lot of people hold, there's people today who got Microsoft in the beginning, still holding it. Google from the beginning, still holding it. Right? Apple from the beginning, still holding it. That doesn't mean they haven't sold some. They've been holding it for 10, 20, 30 years. Doesn't mean they didn't sell some along the way. Doesn't change it from being an investment. Still an investment. But what do you do with a savings account? You grow it. You grow the savings account. And what do you do with from some of the savings? You use some of it to invest. You understand? That's kind of how I see it. Brother Crypto says the altcoin bull run is yet to come. So, where's the money flowing? And whether this is sustainable? It's flowing right now into Kinetic because of the new USDT zero. In my view, it's a game changer for Flare Networks. And I believe it's going to be a game changer for projects wanting to build on Flare on top of everything else. Now, right? I mean, on top of, this layer one EVM interoperability play that is on a massive focused goal of true decentralization, security, and scalability. In addition to that, they're going to come up with awesome stuff like these. They're building out these awesome things like the protocol managed wallets, executing things in the TEEs. I mean, I mean, listen to this thing what Hugo said. Let me share this. Let me find it first before I share my screen. Guys, do me a favor and hit that like button on the way in. That would be super, super cool. Listen, if you didn't get a chance to do it on the way in, no worries. Just collapse the chat. Just go smash that like button real quick, then come back and hang out with the Crypto Siege and family. Let me share this thing that Hugo shared. Here the other. Let me find it, and then I will share it with you guys. Did I save that under? Let's see. Yeah, there it is right there. All right, let me share it with you guys. So GC shared this repost from Hugo. Says here, GC says, reading all this feels like being a kid starting in a candy store. Seriously, people complain it took 5 years. And they redesigned F assets to support a more scalable institutional grade structure, probably because demand is massive. It's not a probably. It's the demand is there. Institutions are wanting what Flare Networks is building out. Bottom line. GC says, but nah, some just want it to pump instantly. Funny how people say they love blockchain, but have zero patience for real innovation. Yeah, I agree. So Hugo did this post here. Um, he reposted something that GC put out. GC put out, the different layouts for Flare and what's kind of going on. Tech Foundation, phase 2, Economic Assembly, phase 3, Tech and Finance Fusion. I think that's supposed to be finance, right? The result, a full stack programmable L1 plug and play for TradFi, Web3, native, and more advanced than anything live today. This is GC's view on, a post that Thanos put out. This Thanos put out, very important for health of our DeFi ecosystem. And I agree. And I'm sure he's talking about USDTO. I think it's massively important. USDT 0 on Kinetic. Very important for the health of our DeFi ecosystem. Utilization matters. And then GC says, phase 1, tech foundation from 2019 to 2025 with the FTSOs, F assets, the FDC, and don't forget the Flare systems protocol, right? FSP. No hype, just hardcore infrastructure. Phase 2, economic assembly 2025, currently going forward. USDT 0, SparkDex, Kinetic, DeFi stack, monetization begins. Networks gets priced. Phase 3, finance fusion, F assets plus stables, real world data, AI, RWA, bridging via the TEEs and the program, the protocol. I keep calling them program. Protocol managed wallets. Full Web3 plus TradFi integration. So Hugo said, fairly accurate summary. Missing some emphasis, however, on XRP staking. Mega apps, which will leverage the protocol managed wallets to control assets on multiple other chains, and the utility of verifiable compute to fundamentally change what can be done on chain, and especially in DeFi and on chain TradFi. But otherwise, this covers the basic plot points. Do you see what I'm saying here from Hugo? Casting the vision, being able to share the message effectively. It's important. Again, certainly not financial advice. I would never begin to tell you what to do with your money. Please don't go out and buy FLR tokens, because I'm doing a live stream talking about Flare Networks. You certainly want to do your own homework and your own due diligence. But again, for me, having been in this space since late 2016, it just my feeling of a thing. It still has to go out and win in the marketplace, right? You can't just, it has to go out and win. It has to go out and grab market share. It has to come out with viable products. It has to have sustainability. Things can't, it has to go through, the bumps and the bruises of having things live on mainnet. I don't know what that's going to look like. Is it congestion? Is it some code or bug that they missed in code? Whatever. It has to go through all of that. The blockchain has to go through the network adoption curve, like all the other chains did, like Solana did, like XRP and Ethereum. It still has to do all that. But for me, it feels like that Flare Networks, this layer 1 EVM blockchain, is it's on its way to becoming the thing that Ethereum hoped to be. That's what it feels like to me. And at a penny, yeah, like I don't know. Like, are there other things out there that some might say, well, if I have $100, I can get more of that token for $100 than I can of FLR? Well, uh, there's some other blockchain out there that is already live, and feel I can get more bang or more value from the money because of this or that. And, okay, then those things are out there. But what if my feeling that I have in my gut about Flare's blockchain becoming the promise of what Ethereum was meant to be? But it's even better than that. Flare's coming out with their own promise, with their own vision. I don't know. What if that happens? I don't know. Do I still keep it in the 10% bucket? I do. All that means is if I have $100, that means I'm investing 90 of the 100 into Bitcoin, Solana, and XRP, or a combination thereof when I get an extra $100, and then 10 into FLR. Or if I have $100,000 invested in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and XRP, I have 10,000 in FLR, invested in FLR. That's what the 90-10 bucket is. It doesn't mean I'm only investing $10 in FLR. It doesn't mean I've only invested $100 or $1,000 in FLR. That's not what it means. It's a ratio. I mean, the risk reward at a penny for me. Uh, the risk reward at a penny for the promise of FLR. Do you understand what I'm saying? Unfortunately, it's unfortunate, but sometimes when people get on YouTube and they say things like that, what the audience hears is 90% into FLR and 10% into Bitcoin or XRP or Solana. Unfortunately, that's what they hear. That's why people don't like to make statements like I make. They go all in on assets in the 10% bucket. People ask me all the time, is Sui in the 10% bucket? Of course. Near Protocol, 10% bucket. Of course. Bear Chain, Mantra. Of course. Kind of how I look at it. Some people like to, do it the other way. My study and research, having listened to successful investors, is that I was doing it the wrong way. I had to change the ratio because I was for sure, you know, I was doing it the wrong way. Sometimes people do that to kind of catch up, to make up for what they missed and all that sort of stuff. But when I read uh, the book by Luca Delana, it just kind of changed everything for me. Recommended by Guy Spear. Just kind of, it changed everything for me. My thinking, how to invest and all that stuff. Brother Crypto says Flair's top price was 7.9%. I thought it was 15%. 15 cents. Wasn't it 15 cents at one time? So that's just kind of my thoughts, my whole thinking. So whether this TVL doubling in growth in 7 months is sustainable, or is it smoke and mirrors? It's For me, it's very sustainable. It's only getting better. What's going to happen when XRP staking goes live? What happens when FXRP goes live on mainnet, which will be FHSITs, I believe V2, FXRP V2, right? And the Songbird people are going to have the FSSV 1.1, 1.1 for FXRP, where you can utilize your Songbird and participate that way as well, which I think is going to be absolutely awesome as well. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it, fam. Kind of my 2 cents. I appreciate you guys being here. It's been a really cool hang for sure. Happy again, Talk That Talk Thursday. We might come back and hang out again tonight and get into some stuff as well. I appreciate you guys being here for sure. All right, family, do me a favor again, hit that like button. If you didn't get a chance to do so on the way in, please do so on the way out. And if you happen to be in that 55% or so of people that are hanging out, listening to and watching the Crypto Seeds, do me a favor. If you've been enjoying the hangout, please consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you know whenever we go live or whenever we upload a video. Do me a favor. If you think and believe that the FLR TVL on Flare Networks is sustainable, do me a favor and put a fire emoji in the comments of this live stream and comment sustainable for sure. Sustainable for sure in the comments of the video if you're watching it on replay. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to end this live stream like I do all of my live streams to remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. But that's okay though, because you and I, we're already winning. And I would ask you to consider this or perhaps ponder the idea or notion of living your life permissionless. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.